All right, we're going live right out of the gate here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I'm going to be talking about a few assets here between gold, silver, and the North American markets, and then, of course, the crypto markets. If you have any questions or if there's an asset you would like me to analyze, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'll see it here on my dashboard, whether you're tuning in from X or YouTube. And if you have any questions about getting started, or if you'd like to learn about the ways that the next generation of merchants are finding to pioneer this fourth industrial revolution, be happy to show you how to be involved. We're going to go ahead and start with silver. Silver has yesterday there were reports of the war between Israel and Hezbollah. The war would be over soon, and believe it or not, that affected the price. In fact, in the last day there, silver made a drop back down to this line of support here. It's finding a little bit of support off of there, but I don't think it'll last. I think we're probably going to see some movement of the price come up to, probably around this $30-$31 mark, and then continue its path downwards as the dollar maintains its, or rather, as faith in the dollar is maintained. Here we can see the same thing happen with gold. Of course, there's no war. I mean, then I guess we'll start selling our gold and put it into the dollar. Apparently, that's what they're thinking anyway. You can see that it's found some support off of this long-term trend line right here. Doesn't really mean a whole lot. Again, I believe that we may see a little bit of a retracement coming back to test this level here at 2658 or so, 2660, and then continue its path going down. I'm going to go ahead and delete this squiggly line. Next, we've got the US 30, Dow Jones Industrial Index, creating new highs. What do you know? Now the high is 44,813. Then we've got, this here is hanging by a thread in my mind, the way that this chart looks. This support here is definitely good for this movement. I would expect to see a little bit more movement going up before a retracement. Not that means anything, but yeah, it's I just feel like all these markets are just hanging by a thread, right? Oh, and there's Audrey coming in. There we are. All right, so TSX also forming new high. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next. I know that as well, again, the prospect of war coming to a close is definitely helping the American economy. And so, yeah, it's just going to boil down to how much printing can these guys do, really. Boils right down to it. For Crypto 30, I've actually been seeing a little bit of a retracement here over the last few days from these highs. Again, these are not highs that are all-time. They are simply just new highs coming out of this big growth spurt right after the election. And that's really all we're seeing is some highs being pressed, but I think that we're likely to see some support coming back down towards this level here. At this level, likely to bounce off of that support that was resistance before and make the next push towards that all-time high. Again, this is the index for the top 30 cryptos. Bitcoin looking pretty much the same. Isn't that interesting? Pretty much the same shape. This is indicative of I said I think we're gonna drop, didn't I? Didn't I say I thought we were gonna drop? And sure enough, we reached an all-time high of a 99. What is this? 99,662, almost 100,000, and then we now see this retracement coming down. So it's not a super huge retracement, but 10% is 10%. Let's go see. Yeah, so we've dropped 7.79%. This isn't the big drop that we're expecting. Again, I expect that this, once we reach a high and the retracement occurs, I think that the retracement will probably be 20 to 30%. And so, you know, if it's 100,000, I believe that the low that we'll see is probably going to be like in the 85 to 80,000 range. If we do end up having another push going up towards, you know, the 110, that's kind of what that's a number that's being thrown around a lot right now. Is that 110 will be the where we see the resistance. So that right there, and then once it reaches here, we'll see that 20-30% drop. So right now, what it looks like to me is that we're simply finding some support off a previous resistance, pretty much the same as the crypto 30 chart. Let's move on though. Ethereum, a little bit of a retracement. As you can see, we have an expanding wedge pattern occurring, and my mouse is really delayed again. I gotta figure out what's going on with that. So we can see here, expanding wedge pattern as the highs are getting higher, but the lows are pretty much staying right on this level of support here. So this expanding wedge pattern, with anything goes. I mean, the market's always right, but with the technical analysis, this definitely looks like it's going to be wanting to press forward for this long-term trend line that we have in place from a long time ago. I think this is from March or something like that. If we go and recalibrate this, yeah, you can see that trend has been there for a long time. Now, what we're seeing, I think right now what we're seeing is a bunch of people just coming on board. We're not seeing a whole lot of movement leaving Ethereum, not like we've seen with Bitcoin. See, Bitcoin, you know, its drop over the last few days, I believe, is related to people moving assets from Bitcoin into other assets. So that liquidity is leaving, and as it leaves, the price starts to drop. But it's not going in, and it might very well be going into Ethereum, because Ethereum is continuing to make new highs. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to venture a guess that the reason why a lot of the other assets, like look at this one here, like it's a little bit of a pullback here the last couple of days, but this ongoing brand new highs being formed in ADA, Modic, Solana, Injective. I think the reason why Bitcoin is showing this retracement, why it's losing like this, is because people are moving their money into these other assets. As they go up, people are talking. You know, it's actually pretty interesting. You know, I don't really do a whole lot of marketing. You know, I do these live presentations here, and I've got a private community that I talk to on a regular basis, but it's small. Like, this is not what I've been doing for the last 4 years. I'm picking this back up after trading for 4 years before COVID. It's fascinating though, because I'm not really doing any marketing, and people are texting me asking me which coins to buy, and they don't even know about the online, like I haven't even told them about the online market analysis or anything like that, because it's not at a convenient time for them. So, but here they are, hearing about how people are making some money off of cryptos, and they're getting excited asking me which coins to buy. This is the kind of thing we're going to see when there's a great big movement. People are all excited. They start going towards wherever the hype is, right? And the hype right now is definitely ADA, Modic, Solana, AVAX, Injective token, Solana, because of the memes. So what we're seeing is from Bitcoin and from the top 30 cryptocurrencies, the retracement is indicative of people moving their money into other coins that are probably not in the top 30. So that's that's what's going on. That's what I think. So let's take a look again, a little bit more analysis on Cardano here. Let's get the 2-hour chart, because we've been looking at this every day for a while. So yeah, nice, beautiful price action coming back down, likely to find support around the 84 cent level before we make another attempt at a new high for this year. Modic, same kind of thing, a little bit of a retracement. Again, this is likely due to a number of people coming in, right? We see the big movement, especially since the election, right? The election was back here. So the election happens, people come in, and then what happens is that the assets they get spread out, right? People get excited, they buy a bunch of stuff, and then they figure out, where do I want to put this to make more money? And so then they start selling it and pushing that liquidity into other assets. On Modic, for example, it could be FAR, that they've invested in. Solana would be the memes. So what we're seeing here is another pullback. So I think it's just another phase of time where people are bringing money in and then they're like moving it around. And then more people and then they make a bunch of money, people get excited, and then the price goes up. And then people move around the money, right? And then the price goes up because, it's exciting. Price coming down, it's because they're moving money into other assets, into other positions. A lot of institutional trading is occurring now at this point within these different companies, like Destra, for example. Solana, the retracement, I think, again, it's just the money is being poured into the next layer of investments that people have opportunities to go to. And I've been saying this for a while, that I figured this was what was going to happen. Money was going to come in, and then it was going to filter into layer 1 and then layer 2 coins. And that's what we're seeing, because it's the layer 2 coins that are actually doing really well. Like, look, Injective token here. Injective is definitely holding its own, continuing to form new highs. And I don't think we'll ever see this. I don't think we'll ever see this asset be down here again, because it's like Bitcoin in the sense that after the election it went up and is probably never going to come back that low again. There was a guy who said that he thinks that Bitcoin is going to retrace back down to 60,000, like 65,000, could be. I don't know. The price has never gone back below the previous election, so I doubt it. If we follow the pattern, if we follow that pattern there, we can say that confidently. So 3 protocol still hanging out nice and low, and now at 7.1 cents US. Likely to, it's ready to go. It's probably going to be a little bit delayed. It's an altcoin that is behind layers of, like, it's a layer 2 coin to Ethereum, and so it could be a while before people get into this, because it's a trading platform, right? A lot of people are just going to be on their exchanges. Well, this trading platform here is up. It's a higher level. It's a more advanced user. Like, you're not going to start off trading and just jump into this right away. You're going to need to learn about it. So again, I think that these kinds of assets are going to be a little bit more delayed as the utility comes into play, and as people are more introduced to the other options for trading. Right now, this massive people that's coming on board, this great big bubble of people coming on board into this AI bubble, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. So finding out about 3 protocol or Woo, it's going to be a while. Woo, though, does have a more impressive chart compared to 3, though, because of its consistent growth up this long channel. We can expect to see more of it. I did say yesterday, it would be nice time to sell. And sure enough, since that time, because I know it was just coming back from this high here, and that delay on the mouse, I've got to fix that as soon as possible. So when we look at here, so that's what we did market analysis yesterday. We finished market analysis right there, and that would have been so this has been a 6 to 7% drop since yesterday, and it could very well continue to come back down and find support off of the long-term trend line here, and we'll we'll see where it goes. Tau going onwards. We're seeing some nice steady growth over the last couple of days coming up from this this trend line. Looks like we're working our way up to here. If we can find some support off of this line, I think that the next resistance we'll probably see is going to be at the 624 level, which is the most previous high that had significance right up there. That's the most previous high with significance. These highs here don't really count. I mean, in fact, if we were to draw a line, we're still in this downward trend, right? So we need to see this price come up, get a leg up over top of this trend line here, find some resistance here, likely find support again off of this line before going up to the all-time high. This is Fetch, or the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. This one here I'm getting more and more interested in as time goes on, simply because of its position in the marketplace and its dominance in development for private AI and good practices, ethical practices with AI. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this ecosystem evolves, especially with SingularityNet being such a key component, a key partner. Right now, sitting at $1.36 US. Yeah, looks like it's finding support actually off of this previous resistance that we found here, and over there. So finding support off of that now, it looks like ready to make its next movement up. But you can see this high doesn't beat out the previous high, so we actually don't have that confirmed trend yet. We need to see highs and lows form higher or lower price action first to call it a trend. On to desync. This one here, very nice trend. A little bit of a retracement since reaching, testing rather, that all-time high. Hasn't actually reached it yet. But that test is nice. That's a nice solid test, finding some support back here at the 30-cent level. Now pushing up already at 33 cents. On its way up to that all-time high. If we get a leg up over top of that, probably retest this level here. This will become a pivot point. Once we get above, it'll likely come back to this point and then continue up. Right now would be a good time to buy. I don't think that we're going to see this price. I mean, it could come back down and even retest this area, but now is a good time to start buying, because even when it comes up here, you can rebuy on the retracement, finding support off of that old all-time high. For 0 by 0, this one here, moving right along. I'm going to go to the daily chart on this one. There we go. So with this daily chart, we can see that these highs and lows are getting closer together, and so that energy buildup is occurring right now. And as that price action gets tighter and tighter and tighter, that energy buildup is going to let this shoot out. Typically speaking, whenever we see this occur, the distance of the breakout is usually, or the distance of the next impulse is usually the same size as the entry or the opening of the wedge. Okay, so that's, again, loose rule of thumb, that can likely be our distance. Well, what is that? That is, in terms of price, that mouse is so freaking delayed. It's crazy how it's doing that. It's probably something to do with the screen sharing and latency or something like that. It's rather annoying. But there we have, that's a 240% window right here. So from this point here, we're almost at the middle of this pennant right now. So when this breaks out, it would not be out of the question for it to jump up 240% in an impulse. So we'll see where it goes. Next we've got ARK. This one here has had that nice big pump here over the last little while, getting itself in position for its next rally towards that all-time high. Sitting now at 5.5 cents US. Yeah, I would say we found ourselves some support. I mean, I think this is a stronger support personally. We might still come back down to test this. Be a good idea to buy. This is under $1, and it'll be on sale under $1 for the next little while. But then once this bubble actually goes up, this is expected to go up to beyond $1 to 2 or even 3. So if this goes to $3, right, where I've purchased, I got 2 positions in here, and both of them are nice and low down here in the 2-cent range. Yeah, my first one was just above 3 cents actually. Is that right? Yeah, just above 3 cents on the first trade, and then my second trade is down almost 2 cents. So between the two of them, if it goes to $3, this is 100x on the asset. That's amazing. Under Link, we've got nice steady progression and a long-term consolidation now. I'm going to go ahead and grab this box because we can see just how much this price action has maintained itself between these two levels. At about 10 cents here up to about 17 cents, bouncing back and forth. Right now we're about in the middle of that box. And so right now would be a great time to start buying. Dollar cost average your way as the price comes down. Wherever it finds support, you can expect it to go up to that next to that all-time high. There's not much resistance between here and that all-time high. And from here to that all-time high, that's just over 100%, about 108%. So that'd be a quick little double of your money coming back to the all-time high and then going on beyond. 01 Labs sitting at 63 cents. Not really moving a whole lot. I mean, we've seen that triple bottom, so that's all we really need to know that we can go up. It's going to boil down to the timing of how things play out here during the bubble. In WorldCoin, it is currently sitting at the same place that I purchased a few days ago. When was this? Monday. So last week Monday, I put a position in WorldCoin. And since that time, a little bit of a move up, but we're not able to find a new high yet. With the highest it's been over the last few months is actually, back all the way in July, where it was at $3.27. Sitting at $2.35 right now, that actually provides a nice prospect. If you think about it, if it comes back up just to this point here. Oh my gosh, the delay on that mouse. So just this point here is a 39% increase. So it would be a good buy right now, and then that way you can reevaluate whether or not you want to keep that 30-40% right here, or if you want to cash that out and continue onwards. I mean, honestly, my position is, as you can tell, a lot higher. I'm shooting for that all-time high, which would give me a 412% return. On PAL, this one here, this was the one that had that big dump there a little while ago. It's been consolidating ever since. I'm quite okay with this. This isn't bad. I mean, I'm in profit from the position that I took right after that dump. This was just a bad PR move somebody made. There was a partnership that half of the community didn't agree with, and they just went ahead with it. There's some bitter voices out there right now, but there's still a lot of strength. A lot of the larger holders of this asset, they haven't moved. And so, we're seeing that stabilize here. As time goes on, we'll see what occurs. I'm going to say, though, that if we do dip back down underneath the price point that I purchased, I'll likely close this trade out and find something else to do with this money while we wait to see what happens with PAL. Moving on, we got FAR. It's a video game infrastructure coin. A couple days ago there, had a nice little impulse, but this impulse here is really not that significant when you take into consideration that it was back at the beginning of October where it was considerably higher. There was a pump a lot higher. What's nice about this one is that it does seem to have brought that price action outside of the pennant, right? And so that energy buildup that I talk about looks to me like it broke out and is starting to find support back on the up on the top side of this trend line. Could also be just finding support at the top of this long-term consolidation zone, which would be great as well, considering that far from where we are right now, let's go up to the daily chart and wait for the mouse to catch up. There we go. As we can see, that all-time high is actually 23 cents US, which from 1 cent, that's a 23x right there. I purchased below a cent. So this was basically like a fractional penny stock, and the growth that I have there expected I'm expecting to reevaluate my position when I've made 23 times what is in there. And folks, yes, what I have put in there is actually the equivalent of 1 month's rent. And so having 23 times the 1 month's rent, almost 24, it's 23.96. That, what does that mean? Well, it means that I've got a couple of years of rent in the bank at the end of this bubble. That's fun. That's fun to say. Now, next we've got Gala. Gala on the US against the US dollar is at 3.4 cents. Another gaming infrastructure coin. I do have a little bit in this one as well. I say a little bit. It's not a month's rent of. It's not a month's rent, but this one here is doing very well with great returns so far. The all-time high is it's actually close to $1. We've got 87 cents, and so right now at 3 cents. That kind of growth, you could be getting anywhere up to a 40x, which would be wonderful. That would be absolute wonderful for anybody to experience, and I look forward to seeing it as it comes into fruition. There was some major resistance though at this point here, and so we got to get above that and create a new high before we can say that we're in an upward trend. So that's that. Let's move on to IMX. This one reminds me a lot of Destra, and how for a long time it was in a pennant pattern where the highs and the lows were just getting narrower and narrower and narrower at a very slow rate. So we're seeing that play out quite a bit similarly here with IMX. Again, with a gaming infrastructure coin that has this type of chart, to me it looks really encouraging. Because most of these, like for instance, FAR, this is neat to look at and to speculate. Oh, what would happen if it comes back, right? But with Gala, it's a different game because it's moving at a much, it's moving at a it's just moving at a different pace, right? Yeah, it had this all-time high coming back down. Oh, sorry, IMX we're on. Oh, mouse catch up. Please. Okay, so yeah, with IMX, it didn't have a great big pump and dump. It started open, and it just went down to nothing. But this whole time, this is the end of December 2022. So this whole time was not good for crypto, and it did very well. It had the growth, it had that accumulation, and as time has gone on, they keep on adding to their project, increasing the vision, building community, and we go into here, we can see that they're actually at a 2.81 billion market cap, sitting here with a 3.37 fully dilated valuation. So it's in a great spot to keep on moving upwards. This kind of money doesn't sit here for no reason. There are very good expectations, and what we're after when we're doing this, when we're looking at bubbles, we're actually not really I'm not that concerned nearly about the quality of the company or what it's got accomplished. I'm actually more interested in the hype, not because I want to put my money on hype. I want to put my money on things that are going to make a lot of money in a bubble, which is hypey things. My intention is to use that hype, increase the value of my assets, and then cash out, leave. I'm not interested. I don't care what these companies do. I'm just here to make money. Call me a degenerate if you want. I don't care. I want to make the money so that I can turn that higher valued asset into something that will grow yet again on the other side of the bubble. That's just how it works. That's how smart money trades. So when I take a look at this chart, IMX, and overall, I'm excited because this here has more stability, and in fact, in my mind, more promise based off of this chart than what we saw with say FAR, right? Where it's it comes out of the gate, does this great big pump, and then everybody just cashes out and it goes to nothing and everyone's depressed. When we look back again at how desync has been with its consistent price range, even though this is a very large price range in the scheme of things, it's consistently going up and down. And so that tells me that there is a good foundation for growth. IMX, same idea, because when we take a look at this wedge is not going down very quickly. And so it has that room, it has that foundation for us to see growth going onwards. On Super, sitting at $1.22 right now, looks like it's actually ready to do a little retracement and maybe find some support over here at 70 cents. Just based on how big of a movement this is and how small of a retracement this is, it would actually make sense for it to come back down to the 74-cent level before reaching up for a new high. Now, that being said, we are on the verge of this bubble, and so anything can happen. But I think that, going back to what I was saying before, I think that we're going to see AI first get a little bit of an injection of liquidity, and then the gaming coins shortly thereafter as the AI is put into implementation. For Sundog, this meme here is nice and low. This is a great time to buy. Don't buy when I was all excited about it. I bought it at a high right now. So this one here is not one of those proud ones. Maybe I should just stop mentioning it. I don't know. But Bonk, that one has done very well over the last little while. In fact, with Bonk, if I remember correctly, Bonk has doubled. Almost. Yeah, it did double at one point, but it's retraced back. So I'm up 65% right now, which basically replaces the losses that I have in Sundog at the moment. And then of course NPC doing very well with this retracement, reconsolidating at this point of support, or this was resistance in the past. Now it's finding support just above this pivot point actually, and ready for its next run up to an all-time high. So there we go. That's it. I was able to get through it there in a good period of time, done before 8 o'clock. At this point here, I'm open for any questions anybody has. You can go ahead and comment if you want. You can also send me a private message either on X or, well, I don't think you can send me a private message on YouTube, but leave a comment if you'd like me to analyze any assets or if you have any questions. And if you would like to have some time with me where you can get started, be happy to share with you my email, or rather my website here. This is manknownaspaull.com/connect. You go there and you can connect on my Telegram. You can tune into the market analyses that we have every morning at 7:15. You can also book an appointment with me if you're wanting to get started. And of course, going onwards from that, this isn't just a, hey, come join me in this trading thing. In my role in this whole Great Reset is to help the small business owners and the local merchants really establish governance over all of their property. And that means the money that they make in providing their products and services to their local communities. And it is by doing so that we're able to take governance over our economy as a nation. And I can guarantee you that if we, the people, have the economy in our possession, our relationship with the government will be a lot better. And so that's my goal. If you would like to learn how you can do that, feel free to reach out. All right, let's go ahead and close things off. Now we're going into our private session where I work with the private members and the different assets that they have. So thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and we'll see you tomorrow.